not a romantic thing at all. It is actually a very historical, political, cultural question. It's a question of the uncanny that people are seeking something else away from home, and that becomes then the context of poetry. And in your case, even this very poem, Migrant Words, is bristling with this whole idea, somewhere which I would like to bring to attention, that somewhere the very striking and very beautiful thing that comes across in this poem is that languages are not just languages, but they are places. So there's a place for every language, and languages are also the place where they belong to. And then you leave them behind. You leave these languages, which are places, behind. And then you find them in broken ways in other places, in other languages which are other places. And this, for me, then, is the counter map that you are building. Your whole trauma of maps, the whole trauma of partition, the whole trauma of maps that moved you away from it, sort of then makes you redraw the map of language, and through language, where you sort of try to look for a new map. So for me, this collection, as much as it is about the agony and the trauma of maps, but it's also trying to sort of remap the trauma.
I'll read a poem, just a minute, but also before I read the poem, since you mentioned redrawing of the maps, the book, we didn't get much time to talk about the design of the book, but
it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. But when I turned in my manuscript and my publisher and the designer were working together on coming up with something, they actually ended up making a bespoke map of India and Ireland, because the poems in this book actually take place in India and Ireland. And yeah, redrawing maps and all of those things. I think a train passed by just right there, and then there's Modi's space on it. So I was like, oh. I always felt like if I ever told this to someone in India, they would not be happy about it. But that's how it is, That's how this book was made. And I'll read the last poem in the book. What Jasmine said. Jasmine always said April is not the cruelest month. It is November when it is winter, and we start to put rum in our bodies as if it is an antifreeze our organs cannot survive without. But 2019 is gritty and all about celery juice. This month is the penultimate act of a 12-part tragedy no one wants to buy the tickets for. The show still runs, and I fly out to Cairo to tour the pyramids of Giza. At this ancient wonder, the Sphinx is tinier than I had expected it to be. I lose half my toenail in an Egyptian sandcastle and feel like a princess who is not a princess because she is wearing boots and they are so fucking tight. Thank you.
I have there's a poem for Amrita and Rose, I think.
Oh yes, it's a very poem. Yeah. Yes, with pleasure. So since, talking of homes, I think this book is also a love letter to a lot of homes of the artists I've visited or I have not been able to visit, because I'm very interested in this space and how it is occupied. And it talks of Leonard Cohen and Marianne's house, it talks of other houses, but it also talks of Amrita and Imrose's house that actually doesn't exist anymore. I'm designing K25 horse cars for Amrita and Imrose. The autocorrect tells me Varis is not spelled so. It must be war is. But that is what it has come to now. It is war in our homes, in your home too. Every inch of its walls bedecked in love and bulldozed dreams. The newspaper headlines in disguise. These walls were so thin that the entire world listened in awe to the many stories that were birthed here. Faz's ghazals in the language of their Punjab, a mushaira from his country, where in retrospect, Waris Shah lived, who could never speak from his grave in solidarity for this rubble. As the passers-by on the street in horse cars continue to watch these semi-treacherous activities in shame, they put off the thought of repainting the peeling paint in a hazel brew for their walls, just as you did. On no man's land. Meet me in the morning on no man's land, where there are no magpies, no ravens, no candles, no kettles, no cups, no saucers, no sun, no moon, no light, no darkness. Yet it is morning, but mornings on no man's land are different from the casual mornings we wake up to.
Meet me in the morning where our heads float, and so do our hearts, where there is no gravity, and the only thing that keeps us grounded is the fact that we are together, and it is that time of the morning.
Meet me in the morning when I will whisper those floating words into your ears, words that will float in the air, but you will float to catch them, and I will end up chasing you, floating like those bubbles in the beer we drank last night.
Meet me in the morning on no man's land, where our skins lose their color, where we are not white or brown or black, but just the shade of our most loved color. I will be lilac, and you can be that shade of yellow you like. Everyone will qualify to be a person of color.
Meet me in the morning and come as the image of an image I have of you, hand over hand, knee over knee. In that bleeding memory, our bodies, our countries, we trespass to walk from yes to yes. You convince me if we can substitute an ampersand for a comma, then it belongs there.
Meet me in the morning on no man's land. We will create a daisy chain or ampersands on no man's land.
I would also like to read the title poem of Alligator. The Yak Dilemma. While learning what different animals were supposed to be called, the first kind of animal I learned to name was a yak. My nanny, whom I am told was from Chamba, took the yak business quite seriously. She made sure I knew we were no flatlanders. Whenever I draw a line on the paper, I think of her telling me that this line is the river Ravi around which several yaks graze. Somewhere between learning about yak milk and yak wool, today I stand in a labyrinth of questions. In a poetry workshop in a country with no yaks, I am told yaks can only be found in Nepal. In another tea house setting in the same country, I am told a yak is a raccoon. Another human contradicts this notion and adds that a yak is something like a furry cow, often related to the Sherpas and probably Tibet. I put kibosh on the discussion before another human tries to venture in with his own theory of Himalayas and yak meat. Like the snowflakes from colorless skies that fall like bullets ricocheting in a war zone, kissing February's hopeless crowns, I often wonder, where have I truly come to?